For the past few years, the budget gaming mouse market space is saturated with feature-packed gaming mice offering tons of flexibility like hot swappable parts such as covers, switches, and battery. Some also offer tri-mode connectivity and perforated covers trying to shed any weight they can. But most if not all have some sort of compromises when it comes to build quality. Of course, the more moving parts, the less rigid the mouse is. Well, Rakk GAHUM has done it again. We now have the Rakk GAHUM, a lightweight gaming mouse that offers the bare essentials like tri-mode connectivity, known reliable sensor, and dependable micro switches while maintaining a relatively lightweight form factor and most importantly, solid build quality. Granted, it doesn't have all the bells and whistles like hot swappable covers, switches, and battery, but those are arguably unnecessary features anyways, so having a better build quality is definitely a good trade-off. But the most impressive part here is that they've done all this while still offering a very competitive price point. With that being said, let's take a look around and see what I really think about this mouse. Let's get into it. Before we start, for my international viewers, Rakk GAHUM is a local brand here in the Philippines, so what we have here is a locally available product. But feel free to stick around if you're interested in what it offers. The packaging features the latest design in black and yellow colorway and branding and key features around it, and what we have here is the white variant. At the back, we have the rest of its specifications. Inside the box, we have the user manual, and I'll give you a couple of seconds here to take a screenshot. We also have some replacement PTFE gliders here, a lightweight paracord cable for wired mode, and the Rakk GAHUM mouse itself. However, we no longer have the usual USB Type-A to Type-C adapter that we've seen in the past. At first look and touch, what strikes me the most is the undeniably clean look of this mouse, featuring an almost unibody construction without the typical perforations. I also like the smooth but not slippery matte texture all around. Looking around, we have the primary mouse clickers with one blue shell pink dot micro switches. We also have the scroll wheel with a TTC gold encoder and a small LED indicator at the center. Flipping it on the left side, we have the forward and back buttons with one black shell white dot micro switches and a Rakk logo right here. As you can tell, the bump is relatively short with a gradual curve toward the back. Turning it at the back side, you'll get a better look at the curve, and as you can see, this mouse features a symmetrical form factor. Flipping it on the right side, you can get a cleaner look at the curvature and the subtle transition to the right side grip. Looking at the front side, we have a relatively short profile for the left and right primary clickers and the recessed USB Type-C at the center. Finally, turning it all over at the bottom, we have a dedicated compartment here for the 2.4 GHz USB dongle, and what I appreciate the most here is that instead of just a Rakk logo, they've opted to put the GAHUM model name, which is way better and is easier to recognize. However, I have a small amount of concern with regard to the longevity of this plastic cover. Next, we also have a dedicated button for DPI and power, and a dedicated switch between 2.4 GHz and Bluetooth. You may have noticed that the switch has a red and green color, but the retail variant will actually be transparent, so don't worry about that. Here at the center, we have the reliable PixArt PMW3395 sensor. We also have two large 100% PTFE gliders here and a small one around the sensor. The top cover, including the buttons cover, is made out of ABS plastic, while the bottom case is made out of polycarbonate plastic. In terms of the weight, of course with the dongle removed, it weighs roughly around 60.4 grams, and Rakk GAHUM actually advised me that the white variant is slightly heavier than the black, so bear that in mind when choosing the colorway. Overall, in terms of my first impressions, it looks very clean and minimal with outstanding build quality and a nice to the touch matte texture. Now, like with my mechanical keyboard reviews, let's do a quick teardown experience so that you can get a better understanding of how it is built. First, we need to peel off the PTFE gliders, and maybe there is a better way to do this to preserve the gliders, but since we have a replacement included in the package, I didn't even bother. After removing the PTFE gliders, you just need to remove the 4 screws and gently pry off the top cover using a proper plastic pry tool, or in my case, just my fingernail. And there you go. Here we can get a better look at the almost unibody top cover with an interesting contraption to lead the LED light towards the center. Like I said earlier, we have the TTC gold encoder for the scroll wheel, and we have the one blue shell pink dot micro switches for the primary buttons. These one switches offer a relatively heavy tactile feel with a deeper sound signature compared to the popular KLGM 8.0 of the Raktalan Air and the Fantech Aria XD7. Personally, in terms of feel, I like the KLGM 8.0 better as it is lighter and faster to actuate, but in terms of sound signature, I like the deeper sound of the Wano switches. As for the side buttons, we have the Wano black shell white dot micro switches that offer a nice tactile click. However, the side buttons on the cover are too thin and sharp for my liking. It almost has this sort of triangular shape to it that you'll definitely feel on each press. They are nicely laid out though, so you won't have to readjust your grip to press both the forward and back buttons. Well, at least for the size of my hand. Now going back here, we also have the 300 mAh of battery and the COMX CX52850 microcontroller unit in a fairly compact PCB. Now before we move on to its shape, comfort, and other aspects, here's a quick sound test for you guys. Moving on in terms of the actual dimensions, it's 124mm in length, 60mm on the thinner side, 66mm here on the thicker side with a height of around 37.9mm, which checks out with its specifications. Now in terms of its shape, it is very similar but not quite to the previous Rakk Air. And essentially, what stands out the most here is the notable thicker and rounded rear end that offers extra real estate for better grip and support for the palm. And partner that with the relatively short bump, it makes it very comfortable to hold for such a large form factor. In my opinion, this is ideal for palm grip users due to the shorter height and relaxed curvature towards the rear end. But it is also suitable for fingertip users and probably claw grip users as well due to the extra grip around the back, all of which is highly dependent on the size of your hand, of course. Personally, I didn't have any issues adjusting to this. The shape and form factor is almost natural to me, and I was able to finish first in Valorant Deathmatch literally the first time I used it, so yeah. As for the performance, with a reliable Pixar PMW3395 sensor, I didn't have any major concerns about its performance. And using the mouse tester software by Micro, the tracking performance is quite consistent, even at around 4 meters per second, which is the fastest flick I can do without breaking my wrist. This means you can rely on its performance for quick flicks and 180 degrees turns. Slow tracking reveals no jittering as well, which is always a good sign, and the polling rate for the most part is decent enough with an average of around 700 to 800 plus Hz, with a maximum of around 1015 Hz, although it is not quite as high in terms of average polling rate compared to the Fantech Aria with the same sensor at around 800 to 900 plus Hz. Overall, sensor performance wise, there's nothing much to complain about the Rakk GAHUM. It is worth noting though that the weight balance is noticeably leaning towards the front side, which is something that you might consider, but personally, it didn't bother me at all. Alright, so with the major parts of the review covered, let's talk about the little details that are equally important. The Rakk GAHUM features tri-mode connectivity, including wired mode, and in case you opt for the wired mode, the included paracord cable is flexible and lightweight enough to not get in the way, so that's a good sign if you suddenly run out of battery, especially that it is not hot swappable. Speaking of wired mode, the USB port opening is quite narrow at only around 11mm, so cable plug compatibility is somehow limited. In comparison, both the Rakk Air and the Fantech Aria XD7's USB port is around 12mm. The small LED indicator shows different colors depending on the mode or the DPI stage, but turns off automatically after a short period of time. Now, while the scroll wheel doesn't have any wobble or squeaking sound, the scrolling sound is too loud for my preference. The tolerance of the primary buttons is also good enough to not get in contact with each other in normal use. Now, the gliding friction of the 100% PTF gliders is decent enough, not too smooth, especially with the textured fabric of the desk mat that I'm using here. By the way, this is the Midnight Dive desk mat by Iconic Blitz, designed by Niccolo Nimor. This is not sponsored, but since I always like to support our local brands, I'll put some links below if you're interested. By the way, if you're crazy and you want to shed some more weight, you can also opt to remove the USB dongle cover to remove a whopping 0.3 grams. Obviously, I'm kidding, but yeah, just in case. And lastly, before we check out the software, here's a quick shape comparison of some of the gaming mice that I have here in the studio. We have the Fantech Aria XD7, the TechWare Pulse Elite, the ROG Harp Ace Aim Lab Edition, which I'll review in our next video, the Rakk GAHUM, the Rakk Air, and the Pulsar Roto Box 2. Alright, so in terms of the software, it is pretty much the same as the Rakk GAHUM and even the Phanteks Aria XD7. Here we can adjust the debounce time and restore, export, or import profiles. We also have the driver version here up top, as well as a small battery charge indicator. Here we have up to 4 profiles, and each button can be customized to a different function like other mouse functions, settings toggle, key combinations, macro, DPI, etc. On the second tab, we have 6 DPI stages, and each DPI setting can be adjusted in increments of 50, and you can also choose the color for each DPI stage. Aside from that, we have polling rate of up to 1000 Hz, lift-off distance between 1 and 2 mm, and other standard mouse settings. And lastly, we have the macro recording tab right here. It is basically the same as the Rakk GAHUM and the Phanteks Aria XD7, just without the lighting tab, since this mouse doesn't have RGB lighting aside from the small LED indicator. Alright guys, so to conclude, if you're looking for an affordable lightweight gaming mouse that prioritizes build quality, comfort, and performance, the Rakk GAHUM is one of the best value out in the market right now. Granted, it doesn't have all the other bells and whistles the previous Rakk Gears mouse has, but what it offers is outstanding quality, reliability, and style at a very competitive price of just around 2,395 Philippine pesos, which is absolute steal for a gaming mouse with a 3395 sensor. And there you have it guys, thank you for watching. Full disclaimer, this is not a sponsored video, but Rakk Gears did send a review sample. They'll see this video the same as you, and if you're interested, you can get this using the link below. Thank you for watching, please consider subscribing to help me grow this channel and provide more reviews like this. Thank you and have a great day guys, you're awesome.